growing path, walking the spiritual walk. My name is Steve Van Einstein. Thank you for joining me today as we go through and we do today's reading for May 27th from James Allen's daily meditations. And I loved yesterday's. It was about honesty. It was about truth. And the last line was great. Really telling, actually, just really good practice. Do not dispute about truth, but live it. So, I'm looking forward to today's reading and seeing what it has to say. This will be fresh to you and fresh to me, meaning this will be the first time I read it or hear this meditation right here on today's podcast. So, here we go. This is the daily reading for May 27th of James Allen's Daily Meditations. Abstinence, sobriety, and self-control are good. Do your duty with the utmost faithfulness, putting away any thought of reward. Let no thought of pleasure or self entice you from your duty. Do not interfere with the duties of others. Be upright in all things, under the most severe trial. Though your happiness in life should seem to be at stake, do not swerve from the right. The man of unconquerable integrity is invincible, but he cannot be confounded. But he escapes from the painful maze of doubt and bewilderment. If one should abuse or accuse or speak ill of you, remain silent and self-controlled, striving to understand that the wrongdoer cannot injure you unless you retaliate, and allow yourself to be carried away by the same wrong condition of mind. Strive, then, also, to meet the evildoer with compassion, seeing how he is injuring himself. The pure-minded cannot think, I have been injured by another. They know no enemy but self. This is what I strive for. This is something that I practice daily. This is something that I genuinely attempt to do. And this is something that I genuinely attempt to remember. I'm not perfect at this one. I've just had a recent experience where I've had to clean something up from me retaliating from something years ago, even in my sobriety. And it doesn't feel good. It puts me at a very animalistic plane almost. It puts you at this place of just what's the word? I'm not even sure which word to use, but it's almost a place of impermanence. Like you feel so ungrounded. So this reading today is right on time. Actually, it's reminding me that I have work to do, and this should be my goal, right? Because the strength isn't in the power of the emotional response. It's just not. Strength is in the ability to practice and live the way you'd like to live. Let me rephrase that. Not the way you'd like to live. Because sometimes living spiritually isn't the thing I'd like to do. I enjoy my emotional binges, right? I'm one of those people that I enjoy that emotional roller coaster at times. Because it's distracting, it gives me some highs, it gives me lows. It keeps me separated from reality a lot of times. So this is the place I have to be. This is where I need to do the work. So let's read this again. And my life today is a testament to this first line, because that's what my life is about these days. Or not completely, it's kind of a defining factor because it defined my life. The using of drugs and alcohol defined my life for many years. So to live a life of sobriety and to live a life of abstinence and self-control gave me the space to change my thinking, right? Like those were the stepping stones and those were the foundations so I could build a different life. And thank God for that. So here we go. We'll read this again. The first line here: abstinence, sobriety, and self-control are good. Simple, to the point, unquestionable. Just like I need things written. And this is the main body of it today. Do your duty with the utmost faithfulness. And then the duty here being living that spiritual life, practicing spiritual principles, right? That today is doing our duty to the utmost. Putting away any thought of reward. We don't do our duty because we're going to get this magical reward in the end. It's not. At some point in a person's life, or hopefully, I would say, at some point in a person's journey, they come to start practicing this because this is the right way of living. You take actions not because you know one day far down the road it's you're going to be rewarded for it. You don't because it's still thinking about yourself. You take actions because it's the right thing to do. Okay? We take actions. We're honest not because it's comfortable. We're not honest because it'll serve us. We expect to get a certain reward or a certain comeuppance. I think that's a word from something. We practice honesty because being honest is the only way to live rightly. And we don't know when we'll get the payback. We don't know when we'll get a reward. We don't know if we will. But we do know that it is the right way for us to live. So, let no thought of pleasure or self entice you from your duty. So if you're not living rightly, or your duty is to live rightly, to live spiritually, to live a life of abundance, to live all of these wonderful things, right? That is your duty. And do not let any thought of pleasure or self entice you away from that. It could be sexual, it could be exciting, it could be fearful, it could be angry. Don't let that distract you from doing the right things, living the right way. Do not interfere with the duties of others. Do not interfere in other people's lives. Do not walk where you're not invited. Do not begin these petty strivings to purposefully influence others, to get the prestige from being a leader just to be a leader. Maybe. Be upright in all things. Simple, again, to the point. feel like that should be a mantra for me, actually. Be upright in all things. Practice integrity. And I'm glad that integrity is actually mentioned in this one later on. Under the most severe trial, though your happiness in life should be at stake, do not swerve from the right. This is where I have a hard time. Because in my mind, I always paint the picture of my future when something's going on as the worst possible scenario, or as a life that I'll end up being miserable in, when it's almost never the case, is it? Like, it's almost never something it never turns out like my worst laid plans. So I love how he says, though your happiness in life should seem to be at stake, do not swerve from the right. Should seem. My perception usually is just wrong on those things. The man of unconquerable integrity is invincible. He cannot be confounded, and he escapes from the painful mazes of doubt and bewilderment. Now, that is one of the most powerful statements I've probably read in the book, if I'm honest with you, because it gives us a life of practice, right? It gives us a life that we need to, or gives us a way of living we need to strive to attain, in my personal opinion. The man of unconquerable integrity, unswerving integrity. We were talking about being committed to your duty, to do your duty with the utmost faithfulness. A man who faithfully and unreservedly walks the spiritual life gives them an unconquerable integrity. And that is invincible, he says. It's true. That is invincible. God, that's the amazing thing. What you think would give you power doesn't, and what you don't think will give you power, or even you might go so far as construing it as making you weak, does give you power. My idea and my concept of power was wrong for so long. It was skewed by a life of materialism, a life of self. Right. So to switch it to this perspective has been, life-altering, right? And something I'm just extremely, extremely grateful for. But I didn't know that this was the way of life that would bring me to a place where I wanted to always conduct myself. I always wanted to have that strength and that steadfastness and that integrity of character. He cannot be confounded, and he escapes the painful, because that's what they are. That's what it is. Personal experience dictates that it is a painful maze of doubt and bewilderment. If one should abuse or accuse or speak ill of you, remain silent and self-controlled. striving to understand that the wrongdoer cannot injure you unless you retaliate, and allow yourself to be carried away by the same wrong condition of mind. Yes, let me read that one again. If one should abuse or accuse or speak ill of you, remain silent and self-controlled. Striving to understand the wrongdoer cannot injure you unless you retaliate. I love that. This whole thing should just be busted up into like 12 memes with quotes on it. It's fantastic. Striving to understand the wrongdoer cannot injure you unless you retaliate and allow yourself to be carried away. I like that. He uses the word. That's a very purposeful word usage right there. And allow yourself to be carried away by the same wrong condition of mind. Strive also to meet the evildoer with compassion, seeing how he's injuring himself. That's such a powerful place to be. And that's an understanding that took me a while to be, it took me a long time to see the truth in that statement and also then practice that statement, practice that discipline. It took me a very long time. And to see then, once I took that statement, once I took that discipline, that principle as truth, that people are only injure me when I allow them to. I had to go back through my entire life, my absolute entire life again, and look at things from a completely different angle, from a completely different perspective, instead of a victim mindset. What did I allow myself to feel? And then also, what power did I give away to others? And that's a painful place to be, when you can fully understand that you've given others the power over you. It kind of breaks your heart a little bit, because you've betrayed yourself a lot. You've allowed yourself to be picked apart. You've allowed yourself to be at the, how to say this, to be bent and informed by someone else, because we couldn't control our own emotional nature. We didn't realize that person then had power over us. Painful place. So, but when you can switch the perspective to this, you shatter all those boxes you've made that other people used to take your power away. Right? You don't have to be at the subject or the beck and call of other people's insecurities or other people's fears. You get to control, you get the power to be able to control that. All right, and this is the last line. The pure-minded cannot think, I have been injured by another. They know no enemy but self. Well, that's it. That's not a course in life-correcting reading, and a reaffirming reading of what is the actual problem and the solution. And I don't know what to tell you. Integrity. I love that. What was that line? The man of unconquerable integrity is invincible. I think I will practice that mantra tomorrow, though. Be upright in all things. Be upright in all things. Be upright in all things. There was a lot of great things in that one. This end of May, or last couple of days in May, has proven to be one of the most enlightening of the year. From my understanding so far, or from just doing this so far. That end of May is fantastic. So, all right, well, thank y'all for joining me again today. It's been another great reading, and thank you for following along with me. Go ahead and give our Facebook page a like and a follow if you wouldn't mind. Give us a little bit of support on Facebook, and thank y'all for just joining me. I'm looking forward to tomorrow's and seeing how May rounds out. It's been a heavy hitter month. Let me tell you, I think this entire month of May has been of deep meaning and substance. So, really looking forward to it. Anyway, so we'll be back again tomorrow. Until next time, thanks.